After nights of patrols, tapes, and files, we finally ask what this case truly leaves us within.
On this table lie 5 strands: 2 nights in the woods, conflicting stories, radar silence, and years of argument.
First, the measured facts. Disciplined personnel, recorded bearings, physical impressions, and modest instrument quirks tonight out herein. Then the limit. No clear imagery, no solid radar correlation, and no independent recordings beyond official channels in.
Depending on how we weigh these pieces, this night becomes either a lesson in error or a rare, measured unknown.
Night 1 gave us a small, specific anomaly. A hovering light, ground traces, and careful voices on tape. Night 2 added more instruments and motion, but still stopped short of anything we can call conclusive in.
Over time, commentary multiplied, pulling the same core events toward different conclusions. Cold forest tonight out herein. Above, radar and routes stayed mostly quiet, offering constraints rather than confirmations. Cold forest tonight out herein.
One axis asks how much of this can be explained as human error under stress and expectation in. It is possible that misjudged distances, angles, and times stitched a familiar scene into something stranger herein.
This view gains strength from what we know about perception and the kinds of lights present in that era.
Yet it struggles with the more measured details that do not shrink easily into imagination out herein.
The anomaly view leans on what was written down and recorded, asking why professionals would fabricate extra complexity. Some push further, naming craft or visitors. Others stop at a more modest, simply unidentified but carefully observed event.
This side admits frustration. A few strong points cannot drag the whole event into certainty out herein.
The honest answer may live uncomfortably between comfortingly mundane and confidently extraordinary labels for us tonight out herein.
Certainty has costs. Ridicule and praise both can flatten complex human experiences into simple stories out herein.
Decades later, they still speak of one cold patrol that refused to fade into just another night in.
Your own verdict may fall into one of these boxes, or slide uncomfortably between them out herein.
No later announcement ever truly closed the story. It simply drifted into the background of other concerns in.
In time, this file became more useful as a case study in critical thinking than as a hunt for visitors.
For others, it remains a quiet obsession. Puzzles of bearings, trees, and lights never quite solved herein. Skeptics eventually move on, satisfied that known explanations sufficed, even if not everyone follows tonight out herein.
My own verdict does not crown heroes or villains. It simply keeps one word in plain view: unresolved.
Unresolved does not mean invented. It means the data we have simply does not bridge every gap in. Whatever happened, the forest now holds only ordinary mornings, while the strangeness lives on paper and tape in. Cases like this teach one reliable habit: document carefully, theorize slowly, and admit where knowledge still stops in.
This file now belongs to you, to keep testing against whatever standards of evidence you trust most in.
For them, it is simply part of a career now behind them, a shift that never quite felt ordinary.
The official file rests on a shelf, neither disproved nor exalted, just waiting for whoever asks next in.
Together, these chapters offer not answers, but a careful map of one of the most debated modern cases. In the end, mystery here is not a gap filled with fantasies, but a reminder of our limits. Whatever you decide, this remains a measured anomaly, worth study, but not a foundation for certainty out herein. Thank you for walking through these nights with us, and for holding space for careful uncertainty herein.
Imagine this file sitting in front of you alone. Every conclusion begins with a private choice about what to trust.
When all voices are mapped, Most positions cluster between mundane air and modest, unresolved anomaly, rather than at the extremes.
In the wider archive, this incident is not alone. It sits among many files where the verdict never landed cleanly. This case draws attention because it combines trained witnesses, modest instrument quirks, and physical traces in one small patch of earth.
When evidence runs out, speculation rushes in. Leave it unchecked, and the case stops being about what truly happened.
Disciplined doubt does not sneer. It asks for better data, clearer notes, and the humility to pause at unresolved.
Whatever you decide about the cause, it is worth remembering these were professionals, not actors, walking into the dark.
It also matters to credit those who ask hard questions, checking whether mystery might hide simpler, human mistakes.
At best, both sides want something similar. A world where claims are tested honestly rather than simply believed or mocked.
Some mysteries matter less because they are solved, and more because they train us to think carefully in the dark. Practically, the lesson here is simple. Good logs and honest caveats age far better than confident, unsupported claims.
Seen this way, the site becomes less a stage for answers and more a quiet reminder of unanswered questions.
Above every local puzzle stretches the larger question of how much we truly know about the space around us.
At some point, every investigator has to close the folder, accepting that the record will remain incomplete in.
The case belongs less to institutions and more to anyone willing to read it carefully.
Together, these chapters sketch not certainty, but a careful, multi-angle portrait of one small, stubborn mystery herein.
The final question is yours alone. What threshold would this file need to cross before you call it resolved?
For now, the best we can offer is an honest map of what is known, unknown, and unlikely.
Treated carefully, mysteries can sharpen our judgment instead of blurring it, keeping wonder and rigor side by side.
In that sense, the case earns its place as a measured anomaly, documented, debated, and still gently unfinished in. Credit belongs not only to those who walked the woods, but also to those who preserved and questioned their accounts.
Long after the last interview ends, the forest keeps its own counsel, indifferent to how we classify its history. Thank you for spending this time with a case that rewards patience more than certainty out herein.
Wherever you land, may the questions here sharpen how you listen to every extraordinary story that follows in.